but this idea of opening the trunk away from the ankle of the metatarsals or of the foot, okay? The other thing is a sense of spreading these metatarsals. Also today we're going to work that spreading of the metacarpals. But this opening the trunk I found really helpful in the exercises that we're going to utilize today in terms of helping make space for people in their lower leg and in their hips. Okay. The other kind of direction, it's one we've worked with before, but I want us to kind of come back to it and utilize it here, especially for our goblet squats, is the heel. And this notch at the front of the heel, and we'll spend just a minute in the warm-up kind of finding that again for everybody. We want to think of that as our 12 o'clock mark. So when I'm standing, that 12 o'clock is the spot on my heel where that notch is. That is at the toe side of that heel. And then we can go around clockwise to then 6 o'clock being more where we feel pressure towards the back of that heel, and then coming all the way around back to 12 o'clock. So if we think of the heel as like a knob or a dial, I'm talking about, so my foot would be slightly turned out in a goblet squat, and I'm going to take that notch of that knob and turn it forwards to help me create some space in the hips as I lower down. So if you're somebody that finds in like a goblet squat kind of setup, you end up really forward and there's an inability to kind of remain more vertical, this sense of turning the notch of the heel, spinning that heel like so, will be helpful. Okay, so let's get started. Let's use our yoga mat and just double up a section of it, and then come to that section and line one foot up so that you find that point at the front of your heel. Okay, some of us might only need one yoga mat, some of us might need that folded, some of us might need like another fold of it. So when you're standing on that foot, you can feel the heel on the ground, but you get a little more pressure to that notch at the front of that heel. And then let's just play with this sense then of that heel as the knob, okay? And spin that heel to the right a little bit, okay? Spin that heel to the left a little bit. Spin that heel to the right, spin that heel to the left, that notch. You'll feel what that does up into the hip. Okay, on this next one, don't splay the metatarsals, but think of opening that trunk as you spin the knob of the heel to the right or towards that free leg. Okay, and to the left, that free leg. And just see what that sets up for you through that leg. Now, work that kind of hip airplane, but this time work it like from the hip rather than from the foot for a second. So we're going to move the pelvis. We're going to move the pelvis. Okay, this time move the pelvis, but work the dial of the heel to help steady you. Okay, so I'm going to move the pelvis, work the dial of that heel to steady me. So some of us, that heel turn will be in the direction we're going. That'll steady us. Some of it will be the opposite direction. Okay, and just feel what that sets up in terms of muscle contraction. That leg is definitely warmed up. So coming to the other one, find that placement where you can feel the notch, that front of the heel. Okay, and then just play with turning it like from 12 to 1 to 11 on that leg. If you find your toes grip quite a bit, as soon as you start to turn the dial of the heel, you might need to open the trunk at that ankle end of those metatarsals. So just feel what that slight turn of the dial sets up. If you notice that you get pushed onto the toes or the toes are really trying to grab the floor, try opening the trunk, pitching up that ankle end of the metatarsals. Okay, and then work that knob. Just keep going. So not just between 11 and 1. Okay, and then do a couple where we're going to focus on moving the pelvis, not what the foot is doing. Focus on moving the pelvis, almost as if like the seam of this zipper is going to move towards that standing leg and away from it. And then combine, so we're moving the pelvis, but you're also going to work the dial. Some of us will work it in the same direction. Some of us are going to be steadier if we work the dial in the opposite direction as where the pelvis or the zipper goes. Okay, and then shake that out. So we started to warm up those legs a bit. Okay, the other place we're going to play with it is, so we're going to come step the feet off of the yoga mat. Okay, and so this is where splay those metatarsals and just start by, when you lower down, open the trunk. Okay, pitch those ankle end of the metatarsals up, open the trunk, come back up. So for some of us, that is going to help set us up in this goblet squat really nicely. Okay, if you want, now when you drop down, you're going to spin that 12 of the heel either towards the room in front of you or towards the back of the foot. Okay, try one, see what it sets up. Try the other, see what it sets up in the hips. Okay, and then stick with the one that works best for you. And then you might combine, open the trunk, spin the knob, turn the knob of the heel. But that foot action should actually have things feel more pliable through the legs and that you don't run into yourself in the hips. In the same way as if I was cued to just push the knees out as I drop down. You'll feel the difference between where those actions originate from. Okay, so that's kind of the setup for our goblet squat. Hopefully you landed on some cues that are working for you with what we were doing with the feet. I'll turn this on an angle. Boop, boop. There we go. Okay, so here we go. So for me, I open the trunk and spin the dial of the heel. Okay, that was my 10.